It's time to start posting our journal entries to the ledger. For this example, we've limited our ledger to only 3 accounts and only 4 journal entries. It's going to help simplify the process. First, we'll do accounts receivable. You see we have 3 accounts receivable entries that we're going to highlight in our journals, November 20th, 21st, and 23rd. In our ledger, we're going to start by writing the account name and number. You see an opening balance of $1,000 debit. That means that was in the account before we started. Our first entry for November 20th is the accounts receivable instrument sale. We can label the journals just to help us identify them as we move forward. So you see we have 4 journal entries, the post reference on the reference journal 1, and the debit of $1,149.75. As this is an asset account, a debit increases our balance, so we have a balance of $2,149.75. I'll check off that I completed the first journal, and I'm going to move to the second entry. You're going to see in a second the journal number 4 that we've credited accounts receivable. Because normal balance is a debit, when we credit an asset account, we actually reduce the balance. There's still a balance owing after the third entry, but it's less than the $27.24 that we see now. And don't forget, accounts receivable wouldn't be tracked this way. Normally we would need to know who paid, how they paid, etc. But for now we're just going to write that it was a payment in accounts receivable. We've credited $1,149.75, and that reduces the balance to $1,574.88. We check off all 3, and then we're going to move to the next account. So now we're going to take care of the GST charged account 2310. This is a regular liability account. The normal balance is going to be a credit. You'll see that we have an opening balance of $2,300. And if we highlight the entries, you're going to see that we have 2 from November 20th and November 21st. Since this is a normal credit balance, credit's going to increase, debit's going to decrease. First instrument sale from journal number 1 and a credit of $50. So our balance will go up to $23.50. Normally we would just work our way through these journal entries as we'd have a ledger for every account, but just to simplify this process, we're not going to do everything, we're just going to do a couple of important accounts. Our second entry is also a credit. So you see now we have a liability of $23.75. So we owe the government $2,375 for GST that we charged on sales. And the last account we're going to take care of is the GST paid on purchase. Don't forget this is a contra account. It's going to be account 2320. But since it's a contra account, it has a normal debit balance. If we look through our journal entries, we're going to see there's only 1 from November 22nd. And if you think about this, so the GST charge minus the GST paid on purchase is what we'd actually owe the government. So we collected $23.75 in sales. We spent, after we're done, $1,015. So if you get the difference, that's what we would pay at the end of the month or the end of the period. And that's it for the ledger. Normally we would keep going, we get all our journal entries taken care of for this period, but I think this is enough to get started.